This video is sponsored by PokemonStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCG code cards. They are compatible with TCG Live, and you can of course get everything on the website for 5% off using the coupon code ZapdosTCG. This video is also sponsored by Cardmarket.com. This is a European platform where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day, and you can do it as well. And you can use the referral name ZapdosTCG to help support the channel. This video is also sponsored by YourPlaymat.com. This is a platform where you're able to, of course, create your own custom playmat. They have, of course, capabilities to ship worldwide, and you can get 10% off by clicking the link down below. So definitely check it out. Last but not least is Dragon Shield, the best brand to protect your beautiful cards. You can of course there's links down below for US and European people, and you can of course get your best quality sleeves available, as well as deck boxes and binders. Thanks so much for sticking around with the commercials. I hope you enjoyed today's upload. If you do, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button, and let's get this video going. What's up YouTube, it's ZapdosTCG here, and welcome back to our TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG uploads, so be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We're actually well on our way to hitting 50,000 subscribers, which is super awesome. So in this video we're going to be talking about the upcoming Paradox Rift meta. The set actually comes out on the 3rd of November, and that's actually pretty close. If you want to have a little bit of an idea of what is going to be good, well, that's going to be this video. We already talked about some deck lists. Also check that video out if you want to just copy paste some of the crazy deck list that the people in Japan have already been play testing with. So this is going to be more of a meta percentages and how popular specific archetypes will be, and how current decks in the format will fall off or will become better. So this is going to be based upon a lot of images I found over at Twitter from all different sources. So hopefully you guys are buckling up for this video. If you guys are excited for it, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button, and let's just get it started. Okay, first of all, Chien-Pao gets a huge boost with the help of Iron Hands, so that actually becomes very good. It's only still tier 2 because I think Charizard remains a #1 deck. We did see it before over in Toronto Regionals. It's a very great pick, and it will only become more solidified because Charizard is a great card. As soon as you can get it out, you can just slap a lot of decks. Giratina VSTAR with the Lost Zone engine is an interesting one. Also gets a huge buff with the form of Counter Catcher now being implemented in the Giratina deck, so you can actually go for Counter Catcher, Star Vacuum, Roxanne, and Path, and all that good stuff. So Lostina still around, even though like people in Japan always play with Lostina. In the West it doesn't always convert that well. And then Roaring Moon sliding its way over in tier 1 currently. So Roaring Moon is a deck very similar to Tempozard or Regigigas Turbozard, whatever it was called, using Welder and then getting an attack off turn 1 for a ridiculous amount of damage. You can do the exact same thing with Roaring Moon. Either you snap an opponent out of oblivion, just one-shot anything with its attack. You can get it off with Professor Sada's Vitality, Energy Switch with Galarian Moltres V, and a manual attachment, or you just rely on Dark Patch, and you can get it off in turn 1, which is super scary for sure. Also with the Ancient Booster Energy Cap, so you can get more HP onto your Roaring Moon. So Roaring Moon will be a very scary archetype. We've already seen a lot of deck lists over in Japan. Check out that video if you want to see some deck lists. Right now we're just talking about the meta. The upcoming meta Paradox Rift is going to be the meta for LAIC, and LAIC will be the first tournament showcasing all these new cards in action. So I cannot wait to of course see how that tournament will unfold. Miraidon still a tier 2 deck, and Mew VMAX as well. So these decks Miraidon gets also the Iron Hands. If you don't know what Iron Hands is, it's a card that allows you to take an additional prize card and slaps 120 damage for a lightning and 3 colorless energies. As mentioned, you can get this combined in the Chien-Pao deck playing Earthen Vessel as well, or you just slap it into a Miraidon deck and just hope your electric generators are a little bit good for you. Mew VMAX also still around, and seems to be one of the decks that isn't countered all that much anymore. Even though Roaring Moon is Darkness type, Charizard is Darkness type, it still gets being slapped down a little bit by its weakness, but not a lot of Spiritombs and Drapions around. That's at least a good thing, right? Their Lugias dropped down to tier 3 together with Gardevoir, if you might believe it. Gardevoir, not only is it weak to Roaring Moon, is it weak to Charizard, it is also weak to Chien-Pao, and that's because of not only Crossfisher Cologne shenanigans, but more importantly, Iron Hands. Iron Hands just pretty much blows Gardevoir out of the water because Gardevoir is a rather slow deck. So the thing you could do is Iron Hands, knock out a Ralts, knock out a Curlia, take 2 prize cards. And if you can do that again, they're going to be way too far behind. Even if they rely on reversal energy and all that good stuff, if you're able to do that again, also you damage yourself, which is pretty weak. And also in this tier list, I actually don't see Iron Valiant anywhere. We will check out a lot of pie charts from a very big tournament over in Japan, so we might just see it popping up. Gholdengo EX also being a new archetype, sliding its way in the Paradox Rift meta. Still has not the refined list just yet, but of course is a great archetype. Being able to have infinite damage output would make it rain, and also comes back with a built-in draw engine. People are gravitating towards the Arven package with the Technical Machine Evolution in combination with VIP Pass. Seems strong to get Gholdengo off, and you do want to be going second with that kind of a build. Lugia tier 3, the reason that Lugia dropped off a little bit is because it is weak to Iron Hands. Iron Hands just gives you free 3 prize cards if your opponent only has Lugia. You Iron Hand it, you get 3 prize cards. Not only that, yeah, Lugia historically has a tough time against Charizard, and also has to deal now with stuff like the Roaring Moon, which can turn 1, slap 220, or just evaporate anything. So lots of EXs are now in the format if we take a look at it. Gholdengo, Gardevoir, Miraidon, Chien-Pao, Roaring Moon. So more, yeah, the V-Stars and the V-Maxes still around in every tier, but that's about it. So this is one of the slides I found. Moving forward, we're going to be taking a look at another pie chart here of popularity-wise. So we do see that Mew VMAX was in a specific tournament very popular. So Mew VMAX, Lostina, Chien-Pao, Charizard, Lost Box, funny enough, also still around 9% meta share in that tournament. Roaring Moon was there, Gardevoir, Lugia, Miraidon, and then a couple of rogue decks here and there. So yeah, Lostina seems to be very, very good and very popular. Is Counter Catcher pushing it over the edge? In my opinion, Lostina sometimes, yeah, it's still a pile, but people make it work for some reason. I'm very glad that Chien-Pao is now a respectable tier 2 / maybe tier 1 deck with the help of Iron Hands. Okay, next meta share, Charizard very popular, Roaring Moon, and Lostina as well. So these seem to be very, very great archetypes. If we can take a look at that other slide, these are actually the decks that were in that tier 1 category. Miraidon, a 10% meta share, still has, of course, access to that Iron Hands right now, which makes it pretty scary. Chien-Pao dropped off a little bit in meta share in that specific tournament, and Gardevoir is still around. Okay. Gardevoir is still around. Also, Gholdengo popped up a little bit here and there. The thing that I found very crazy is that Iron Valiant with the Medicham, with the Urshifu, is not that popular in Japan quite yet. Even though I think it still has hidden potential, it might pop off as a tier 2, or maybe even, yeah, it depends on the meta, as a very strong deck in the format. But Roaring Moon already making its footprint into the history of the TCG, being a very great archetype. Roaring Moon, very similar effects. You play Squawkabilly, you play Professor Sada, you want to be going second. A turn 1 attack with that deck almost happens, and then yeah, you can knock out a Lugia V in the active, a Chien-Pao in the active, a Miraidon in the active, a Mew V in the active. You can just donk people. So Roaring Moon, strong deck, as probably the best new deck from Paradox Rift. Another pie chart here is that we do see that Roaring Moon is around only 9% meta share. And Gardevoir crept its way up back again. Do we see Reggie there? Of course we see Reggie there. The Reggie deck might slowly but steadily come back in the format, and I couldn't be more ecstatic about it, because I've played Reggie for an entire season, got my Worlds invite, mostly thanks to playing Reggie, so I'm very excited with that. And actually that was very near to my heart, because that actually was the Worlds to Yokohama, and Reggie made the way, so that's pretty cool. Okay, next pie chart, we do see a little bit of the same. Mew VMAX, Miraidon, Roaring Moon, Lostina, and Charizard seem to be the more popular decks, and Chien-Pao also still around. I think also the Lugia decks might also start playing some Earthen Vessels and Iron Hands themselves, so they can have a taste of their own medicine against specific decks. And Gholdengo doesn't seem all that popular, and most importantly, the deck that people have been afraid of and hyping up a lot, like the Iron Valiant, hasn't seemed to be seeing all that much play. So another pie chart here, we do see a little bit of Reggie, a little bit of a Gholdengo as well. So I think if people can refine the list, the cool thing is that this set has been released in Japan, I think 1 or 2 weeks just yet that they're playing with these new cards. So they're very close to our release date, which makes exploring the format so much fun. And I wonder which decks we're going to be seeing at the LAIC tournament over in Brazil. So Gholdengo, a cool looking deck, and I wonder how people will be yeah, playtesting with it. Okay, moving forward, still the same. Miraidon is always a 10% meta share for some reason, and Lostina is way too popular for my books. I think Lostina's popularity will drop down a little bit. We did see that over in the West. It was like the #1 deck, and at one point people said Lostina is like just a pile, and then it actually dropped down to like an 8% meta share, not even showing in the top 6 best decks. So we'll see what the future holds for the format. But we do see some new contenders like Gholdengo and Roaring Moon are around, and Chien-Pao gets a boost with that Iron Hands. Another pie chart here is Gholdengo having its way meta share a little bit here and there, and then Mew VMAX having a great conversion rate right there. Roaring Moon also great. So decks that we need to look out for: Gholdengo, Roaring Moon, and yeah, if we take a look at it, there's a lot of decks that see a little bit of a minor update. And I think the most surprising thing is that Gardevoir, instead of becoming like a 12% meta share deck, it will drop down to like a 6% meta share, yeah, at most, because it has a lot of weaknesses going ahead of him. Not only is it weak to stuff like Counter Catcher, knocking out Gardevoir, EX, Path, Roxanne kind of things with the Lostina deck. Also weak to Roaring Moon because of weakness, being weak to Iron Hands in both the Miraidon and the Chien-Pao deck. So and Charizard also still a big threat in the format. So Gardevoir dropped off a little bit. I wonder if it will make a comeback at one point, because Gardevoir is yeah, is a great pick because it draws a lot of cards. But the format seems to be warping up to a lot of yeah, fast decks. Look at all the decks right now in the top 4 most played decks in this specific example. Lostina can attack turn 1 with Spit Innocently. Roaring Moon can attack turn 1 with that incredible Roaring Moon card. There is Miraidon that can attack on turn 1. There's Mew VMAX that can attack on turn 1 with Meloetta. So lots of these decks can attack turn 1. So the meta is going to be super fast. Other decks can take 2 prize cards very easily in the form of Iron Hands, and if you're playing the Chien-Pao. So cool looking format. What can we learn from this specific example? If we just take a minor example, let's go to Limitless, go to the decks here. Lost Zone decks seem to be not that popular. The best Lost Zone deck that is performing well in Japan is the Lostina. Turbo Lost boxes are things that people are not playing. Is it because people are tacking in the Giratina that prevents the damage counters? Is it because Iron Hands is just too crazy? Who knows, but yeah, Lost Box will see a decrease in play. Gardevoir will see a decrease in play. Lugia will see a decrease in play. Giratina will see an uptick. Charizard will see an uptick. Chien-Pao will see an uptick, and Miraidon is just even. So also I want to give a huge shout out to Snorlax Block, which can get, of course, the counter catcher going around. So maybe that can also become an archetype of its own. And Iron Valiant still has to prove itself, but I still think it's an underdog pick for yeah, the upcoming tournaments, because as you all know, with Iron Valiant you can win a turn on turn 1 without the opponent even drawing a card, which is incredibly scary. We don't see a lot of Arceus over in Japan as well, and we also want to be taking a note here is that the Regigigas deck came out of nowhere once again, and I wonder if Earthen Vessel will save Regigigas. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. This was me speculating a little bit about the yeah, upcoming format with Paradox Rift legal. What is your current favorite deck that you figured out for Paradox Rift? Let me know what you are hyped to test out in the comments down below so we can get a discussion started. Go check out my sponsors as well, Pokemon to get your own TCG Live code cards. You can scan them in instantly, instant email delivery. You can get 5% off using the coupon code ZapdosTCG. There's Dragon Shield. You can use the coupon code ZapDos5 on Dragon Shield for all your sleeves, binders, deck boxes. There's also a direct link down below. There is, yeah, yourplaymat.com. You can get 10% off if you want to create your own custom playmat. So if you have a team, if you want to just have your unique custom wallpaper printed onto a playmat, definitely go head over to yourplaymat.com, link down below. And there's also cardmarket.com for European players. You can buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. Use the referral name ZapdosTCG to help support the channel. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow for some brand new Pokemon TCG content. Peace!